Hello everyone, Korvoth here. I found something. Something in the scrap wastes. A very important thing. More than that, I found it several times. It seems to be in every foundry. All of them that I visit since I've uncovered it. I don't know what it means, but it must be important. So shut your eyes and feel the crisp burst of energy flowing through your circuits. This is discovery. Is it here or what? Clack asked as he shifted piles of scrap to clear the side of the odd building. There isn't a door, not in the way you've ever seen or thought of one, Korvoth replied as he brushed dirt off of the exposed surface. What do you mean there isn't a door? If there's no door, then it's not a building, is it? It's just a lump of metal. What are we doing out here? We are setting up a shack, or more importantly, you are. I have to clear the scrap piles to find the words. Korvoth continued to throw the heaps of junk away from the outer surface of the structure. This doesn't seem like it will lead to any profit, Clack responded as he sorted through various sheets of metal. There's almost nothing out here. We won't be able to survive out here too long before we have to go back. I have infinite time, Clack. I don't need to do any one thing, but I must figure out how to open this fortress. Here are the words. You keep saying that, but we all shut down and never awaken after the 10 attempts. You may be the Korvoth that invented the recharger and the powered cart, or you may not be. But if I can't scrounge up the scrap required to see me through another battery in another few days, then I will leave you. Korvoth turned his dangerous gaze back to his hired help. Then you should leave as soon as the shack is built. What if I decide I'll need to take something from you to cover my losses? Blam! Poor Clack. Korvoth stood over the body of his hired help, still smoking from the gaping chasm Korvoth's gun had just put into it. I'm sorry, but I will not accept threats from those I choose to help me in this particular endeavor. This is too important, and you have 9 more lives to make something of yourself. If you come back to find vengeance, so be it. But we are a bit away from everything else. Korvoth examined the body only long enough to make sure Clack was well and truly dead. It'd be 2 or 3 days at least till he was cycled back through the rotation, if the other bot chose to head out so far again. He strode with purpose back to the words etched in the cold steel of the tower. Korvoth swept his hands across them, cleaning what dirt and dust away from them that he could. He sighed, separating himself from the most important thing he'd ever looked upon. He had work to do, and 2 less hands to finish such bothersome tasks. It took him the better part of a day, but he built his shack a little ways off, nestled in the top of a scrap hill. A scrapper in the distance shoving endless mountains of scrap into its massive abyssal maw. They never came close to these sites. That had to mean something. But what? Korvoth had no idea. He buried his hut as best as he could manage, while still giving himself a good view of the jutting metal tower. A storm had begun to roll across the scrap wastes in the distance, lightning rippling through the black, billowing clouds. Korvoth made a quick trip to the base of the structure, and the precious words etched into its surface. The only thing that hinted at the fortress being a building at all. He bent on his haunches, reading the words a few times before daring to speak them aloud. If words do contain power, then these few are the wrath of all gods. And then nothing. That was all there was to be read. What did it mean? Who would leave this message? There had to be a reason for this small phrase to be found somewhere on all of the towers. If words do contain power, then these few are the wrath of all gods. What was it? What did they mean? Korvoth, startled by lightning all too close for comfort, drew his weapon on instinct alone, firing at the direction of the eruption. The bullet ricocheted, bounding back to him. He threw his hands up in ineffectual defense of his metal frame, but it struck the tower behind him. A hum, low and steady. Korvoth spun back to the tower. It glowed with a dim red hue, slowly pulsing, and then the light faded away. He laughed out loud, screaming into the storm, slowly making progress over him. The first few sprinkles of rain landing at his feet. Yes! A little more of the mystery at my fingertips. A little more truth revealed. And more than even he hoped in his celebration. As the water tapped upon the cold steel of the tower, it hummed once more, slots opening up on all of its sides to drink the flow. They were high, far too tall for Korvoth to even reach at the height of his scrap hill. Too high to build anything sturdy or steady enough to support his weight, so he could peer into those portals, and too small for him to ever hope to pass through. Lightning thrashed around the ground nearby once more. He had to retreat any longer, and he risked his last life at this foundry, coming to an all too quick end. Korvoth fled, feeling the true longing to remain, grip his servos and clutch his mind. He had to learn more. He had to. And so it is. Our time together has come to an end. This was another glimpse into one of my journeys into Foundry and back again. Sadly, now we must part ways once more. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. Don't you let me catch any of you leaving any of that awful rude or mean stuff, though. Keep all that nonsense to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. And don't forget, we strongly encourage each and every one of you to do your absolute utmost to stay safe out there. Good night and good luck, everyone. You'll need it. Bye-bye, everybody. See you again next Sunday for another episode of Foundry. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.